This week in the field, you've got poor conditions. It's a great time to practice photography. Hi everyone, I'm Scott Davenport and welcome back to another episode of In the Field. This week talking about what I think a lot of us face week in and week out is relatively poor conditions for shooting. Landscape, we love golden hour and we love partly cloudy skies and we love golden light and we want all that stuff to happen, of course, every week. And normally it doesn't. That actually kind of what makes a landscape photo so special is we don't get those conditions every week or every day. And when you do, it makes it, just that much more of a great thing. So what can you do when you've got those poor conditions? It's a great time to practice your photography. I had a situation like this recently. I was out in Coronado, a place I go reasonably often, and there's nothing going on in the sky. It's just not, it's one of those days. Let me show you a little bit of footage here, and I'll come back and show you, well, what did I do as a result? It was an uneventful sunrise at the Tidelands Park in Coronado today, but the dinghy landing never fails to provide a few subjects that make any morning here interesting. So when you don't have a lot going on, the scene as a whole, change things up, start getting closer in, tighter subjects, interesting boats, even some that are floating out in the harbor there. In the end, getting out in the field is always better than sitting behind a desk. Little to nothing happening weather-wise. The conditions just were gray, were blah, not a lot of things going on. There was even a little more color before the sun had come up, where you still had a bit of the blue hour going on before the sunrise, which never really materialized, came about. But that's okay. And one of the reasons I go to this location is when weather predictions are iffy. I'm not sure if you're going to get that break in the clouds or not. There's plenty of other things to go and photograph. And it's a great time to practice, and practice your composition. You can practice. I did some practice of panoramas. I actually did a little practice of, I went there to photograph the bridge and the dinghy boats, but what else is there that I can do? And here's just a few photos. Some I've processed, some I haven't, that I took on that outing. And so classics of the dinghy boats, I love these things, and this looks great. I mean, even for, quote unquote lousy conditions, I did pretty good with some of the color. Got other ones that I'm going to play with just to get different takes on some of these boats. Here's an example of what else is around. These bikes were chained up to these palm trees, took it in a vintage direction, just something different, using the camera to do something else with. Some close-ups, various details on different things there. And I also practiced a pano. And I have a little cleanup work I still want to do on this particular one. But, it's when you move it into black and white, that's actually kind of appealing. I kind of like it. It was a very gray day, but gray is okay, and it's a good thing to do on monochrome. So there's always something to go and photograph, even if your conditions aren't great. And that's the tip of the week. Practice your photography. Get out there with the camera, with your tripod, handheld, whatever it is you're into. Just get out there and go make photos. You get the conditions some days, other days you don't. Either way, you're going to get more time with your hands on the camera, more comfortable. You'll try different things. And sometimes, the weather forces us to look at a scene differently or, abandon the subject we had thought we were going to shoot and go do something else. In the end, the more time you spend with your camera, the more time you're out and about, the better you're going to be off for it. The only time I've ever missed a shot is because I stayed at home and didn't go out. Weather will cooperate sometimes it won't, but if I stay at home, I can guarantee I'm not going to get the photo. And that wraps up this week in the field. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, you can let me know somehow. Likes, shares, +1s, comments on the video. Contact me through my website if you've got questions or comments. If you've got photo questions, love questions, those really help feed the ideas for the next set of videos. And I want to hear from you. I want to know that this is either valuable to you or, hey, Scott, why don't you ever talk about this? And all that stuff is great because that'll help me help you, and we're helping each other. That's the whole point of all this. We can all become better photographers together. Until next time, my name is Scott Davenport, and happy shooting.